Hello, and welcome to the Midweek Metal Podcast, The Crew. This episode, we will be talking about AI in music, and I'm here with my co-host and metal friend, James. How are you, mate?
Very good, thank you, mate. You?
Very good. This week, I'm also here with my metal friend and media man of the podcast, Aaron. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks, man.
Good. As I said, this week, talk about AI music. We thought we'd do an episode of that to give our opinions and just talk about it for a bit before we get into it. Because so that anything spoken about in this podcast is all just our opinions and just we might speak about it. It might not be facts. It could be anything. So don't be messengers saying that's wrong. How dare you say that?
How dare you have an opinion?
It's a big topic at the minute, and it's a strange subject in the way music's moving forward as a whole, I think. First of all, should we get into the first all AI band, I suppose, that has crept up and actually brung out an album, which is very strange. The band are called Frostbite Orkings, I believe, and the music is completely generated by an AI model based in Germany, which is strange. If you would put some input, but I believe that it is a band that has been inputted into AI and came up with all the music, vocals, everything themselves. Is that a good description of what it is?
Yeah, I guess it's. They've claimed that it can't be anything to do with copyright because they're not actually feeding like legit songs into it. They're just sort of, a bunch of musicians, I guess, that are playing sort of random riffs into it, and then it just churns out something that makes some sort of sense, and then other stuff it doesn't, and then the stuff that sounds good they put together, and now they've got a whole album. So it's a bit weird.
Is it am I right in thinking, is it a band as musicians put into it, or have they put data into it and the AIs come up with the music themselves?
Yeah, the AI is just churning out stuff that it's being fed. And some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. Naturally.
Yeah, it's just sort of arranging the bits that have been put into it in a way that sort of sounds like a song.
Yeah, it's all new and very strange, and we might not have the technical vocabulary that is needed for the old AI genre generation, or whatever you want to call it. But I believe it is on a platform called the Metaverse that is home to the world's greatest virtual metal bands.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. Man. I don't know if you've heard the album or the music. To be fair, I've not listened to the full album, but I've listened to some of the tracks off there, and it is
yeah, I've listened to a couple of bits.
It's just a very strange platform for me, and I'm sure for you as well, because it's not actually a band. Where all the money side of it, I have no idea. I don't know if they make money off it, but it's, why don't we just get into that? The who gets paid for the AI that is coming out now? Because there's different genres of the different avenues of the AI. Because there's voice cloning that is singing, and it changes the voice to anyone using the AI. So I think, for example, what I understand, I don't know if it's right, that you can have a platform where you can sing what you want into it, and it can change your voice, clone it to an artist's, I don't know, just Ozzy Osbourne or anyone, and your voice can be changed to that artist.
Yeah, pretty much.
it's odd because then if it's coming out, I mean, there's some artists now. Actually, I've not actually seen that they are on, say, Spotify. It's you have the 2 verified artists, so you have the artist at an album, and then you have a verified AI of that artist that people have created a song, but it's in their voice.
Yeah, I don't know how they would be going about that. I'm sure there's record labels pulling their fucking hair out at the minute, wondering if they're missing out on a bunch of cash because someone can just imitate someone's voice. I know a very popular one at the minute is, like, I keep seeing videos on Twitter, or X, as now they call it, of Homer Simpson singing various famous songs. So there's some sort of generation and AI generation where you can just input any song and then have Homer Simpson sing it.
Okay.
Wow. There you go.
Yes. It's, I think, the rules of the music industry in that way, I think, is it goes by inspiration versus copyright. Copyright is illegal unless paid. I think it's sampling the music, and then using a melody from someone else's song is interpretation, something like that. It's not interpretation, it's another weird word. It sounds like it's interpolation. It's using the original recording, but the original artist still needs to get paid. And then if you just do a whole song, obviously that's a cover and someone gets paid. But it's a blurred line in a minute, because if you can create a song that you do it and then have a segment of it of somebody else's voice, but it's done by AI, it's not the artist on there, is it? It's their voice. So the artists have had nothing to do with it. So does that come under copyright laws?
I wouldn't even know.
I would consider it.
Yeah, but
yeah, I would say more yes than no.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to, like, how being in the music industry when streaming first came in. It's like there's a lot of stuff written in old language that doesn't quite marry up with how the world is right now. So many deals had to be expired and then rewritten because there's just no language in on any of the deals to cover any of this.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously the early streaming of music, well, I suppose the biggest one is Metallica and Napster, legally, download your music, and they can sue the arse, well, they did sue the arse of Napster, but I'm it's all a bit confusing, the whole premise of it, because yes, it's interpreted someone's voice, and it is their voice, but they're not on the record. They've not recorded it. They've not done anything. Because I think music, as I said, like using someone's melody for in a track, the original artist is still going to get paid. If you use a line out of a track that you know it's track, like if you used the chorus for Iron Man, just say, just a melody. Sabbath for getting paid for it. But then, if you recorded a completely different melody, your own, but used AI to change the voice to Ozzy or anyone, is that because it's an original melody, but it's just someone's voice? I mean, there's lots of examples of someone sounding like somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a very I don't think the music industry have worked it out yet.
No, and then if you're out, like, setting out from the beginning to mimic someone's voice, I don't think you can moan when someone tries to sue you.
Yeah, true. This is true. Yes, but so do you think it will get to a stage where there will be songs or whole albums by an artist that has all been generated by AI, and they can put it out, but you won't know that it's been generated by so you can have a whole album of a new band. I mean, by judging what I've read and looked at, it doesn't take very long once you input it. So it's just like it's instant, because it's you put what was it is it Chat GPT, and they can create lyrics for you, and then you got Music LM that create the melodies, and it comes out with a song, and then it can come out with an album. Is it? It's not music, is it?
No, but it's just working from whatever it's been fed, isn't it? So, but the different thing with this metaverse is apparently that it's not been fed anything that's sort of copyrighted, anything that's been released. So, however they've done that, I guess just guitarists and drummers just jamming, or I don't know how they've done it. I know it's taken years to do it for it to get to this point, but I think there's a positive and a negative. I think in the whole thing of it, it has its positives. Like, for example, someone that has a music sort of home studio, you can have a lot of AI influence in mixing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that it can do. It can, you can feed it some, like a guitar stem, and it will set up like the right compression, the right EQ for it to cut through the mix. That sort of stuff is very helpful, especially for beginners. But to have AI completely write an entire album, I think is a bit of an overkill, because then when you think if that really kicks off, how do they then go about touring that? People are going to want to see that and hear it live, right? So you're going to be a touring band with no members. It's just going to be like holograms on the stage. Obviously, you're going to need sound engineers, lighting engineers, and all the rest of it, but no band members. So it's a bit weird. Yeah,
with that STEM stuff, when I was doing research, that new Beatles track that got released, I think it was last year, that was made using a form of AI to clean up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely got its uses in different ways. Like, instead of just outwardly creating music, but using it to benefit actual real bands making music, is clearly a useful tool.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly makes the process a lot quicker and a lot more cleaner as well. Because to do certain editing back in the day, it would have taken ages. But now, with everything so easily accessible and digital, and you can get things to cut things out instantly. So there is things that are really helpful about it. But like anything, we always overdo it.
Yeah,
it's just knowing when to stop.
But I suppose in this genre of music, obviously with the Midweek Metal Podcast and metal, I think there's something, I don't know, primeval, personal with it. Do you think other genres, or maybe even metal, do you think people will care if it's just putting and churning out music, as in no one's actually sat down, recorded it, thought about it, no one's written the lyrics, no one's made the song, so you can just make an album? Do you think people will care about that? I know personally I would, and I do.
Yeah,
I do.
People have been crying about backing tracks for 30 years. Of course, people are going to care.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah, but it's just a weird subject that you could go down a lot of rabbit holes with.
Yeah, and then that whole thing with like having no band. I guess kind of like the Gorillaz sort of did that when they came out. They were like, they were a real band, but they were sort of faceless. So I guess there is possibly a way that they could tour something like that just by doing that sort of setup on stage.
Yeah. Well, they're doing it now, even with people that are, like Elvis and people that aren't here anymore, and Michael Jackson, and they're doing these hologram sort of performances, and people love it.
Yeah, that ABBA one's really popular, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very popular. Yeah, but if that's the future, we're going to be getting rid of humans and just letting AI doing everything. You won't need anyone to do anything. We just sit there dribbling, watching all these holograms doing shit and writing music that has no input from any human. Like, where are we heading?
I have no idea, but there's the other side of it where I think they've got parts recordings of people like Randy Rhoads and stuff that they've done in the studio a lot, and they can have, like, I don't know, 10 seconds of something, put it into the machine, whatever you call it, and takes that 10 seconds and creates a whole song, what it would sound like off of a 10-second stem of a song.
Yeah.
And it creates that a 3-minute song of what it would sound like. And I think that's cool. It's fun, but it shouldn't be. My personal opinion, I think it's cool and it's a fun thing to do. It's but as long as it's labelled and put out there as it's got a big stamp on it saying AI.
Yeah. No human was involved.
Yeah. And then it just takes just saying that it can create a 3-minute song from a 10-second clip. It's like there's no idea that the computer knows where that was going to go. Like the human input to music is obviously massively important. So just because it thinks it knows where it might have gone, it's got no fucking idea.
No.
I totally agree. It's I don't know. It's a strange thing. I mean, do you think it was probably the same when they started recording music in sort of the 70s? And I definitely know that when Iommi started sort of double taking his tracks, and that people, like the generation before that, was going, well, that's not how it really sounds, and that's not real because he's double took that tracks, and obviously it's moved on from there. But even then, they were saying, "Oh, that's not." But I think this is way ahead of that. It's much more powerful than that. If you could just pull out a whole song from thin air, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, metal as a genre anyway is heavily overdone because that's the sound of now. That's the sound that where metal sort of gotten to. It's not just a case of getting into a room and jamming it out in one take. There's layers upon layers of stuff and, samples put on top of drums to make them sound bigger. A whole host of different things that goes into making an album, not just the members, but the whole engineering behind it. So you're not really hearing the raw sound of what the band really is. And even when you hear them live, it's all backing tracks because all those things, all those effects and various things that are on the album that we know and are expecting are going to have to be put on backing tracks to make it live. Otherwise, it just sounds empty. It's just got, if you've got like a 3-piece, but there's all this sort of, production that's gone into the album, that's what people are expecting. That's why all these backing tracks are out there. So, but metal is, I think, probably, it is. It's way overproduced, but then that's just the sound that it sounds good, and that's what's expected now. So,
yeah, as I said, the record labels must be, I don't know what they're doing. It's a grey area because even as I said, even though it's come up with the voice of someone, then does the artist does the music go straight to the artist because it's their voice, or if they're signed with a record label, does the record label get funded for that? Do they get paid?
Yeah. Could someone use an AI of their own voice to get around their commitment to a record label because it's not actually them?
I've no idea because the record label owns the rights to their music. They don't own their voice. No,
but I think they have the rights to stop them putting out any music of them that's not produced by that label. So could that be a way around people? You could see people negotiating, getting out of bad deals by just using this sort of thing and be like, "Oh, that wasn't me. I just used a computer."
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Send the boys around to knock on the computer's door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a load of robots.
Yeah, it's murky waters.
Definitely.
But yeah, as I said, if it's labelled as AI and not labelled as a new Metallica album, it's not, or I know Metallica's probably a band to associate it with because they'll sue anyone for anything.
To be fair, I did see some funny Metallica ones. Someone's doing James Hetfield a lot on Instagram for him singing different songs. Like I saw him singing like "Wrecking Ball" by Miley Cyrus today when I was looking around.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Was it I've seen him doing the interlude to Stan.
See, that is fun, or it is funny, and it should be classed as fun. But I think the whole AI part of it should be kept as a fun tool to use for something like that, not to be thrown out as an album, a piece of music, a piece of art. It should be kept as a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Will artists start? I don't even know if artists do they patent their voice? Is that copyright their voice? As in, can you legally just copyright your voice?
I don't know, because you get Nicholas Carlson singing like Hetfield.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to put triggers into, like, a computer can tell, like a forensic sort of way that they can, something would be able to discern if that's the actual person or not.
And you bring up Orbit Culture. What about bands like Orbit Culture that are not signed to a label? What is there? Obviously, must be a copyright on the music, but they're not signed.
Could you see it go the other way and have the label reproduce more Orbit Culture music without them?
Yeah. Who says that they can't just metal labels can't just say, "Oh, you got a," instead of having a 5-album deal, you're going to get a 10 album, but 5 of them are going to be
Yeah. If you decide to leave, we can put out 5 albums worth of AI.
You've got to play live.
Yeah. It's a very strange subject, if I'm being honest with you. It's a powerful tool if used for the right ways.
Yeah.
But as human beings, that's not going to be the case.
No.
It is not. And I'm sure there's going to be many twists and turns in the future of AI music and music in general. But yeah, for me, it's just sort of music is a lot of the times people's experiences. They've written it lyrically, musically, as in you know. As you know, Jay's playing guitar. Sometimes you, feel you want to go heavy as hell. Sometimes you feel like you don't. And that's where's the inspiration in it?
Yeah, it's soulless.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, none of us are pretty privy to the whole industry workings, but I'm still confused who gets paid for it, because someone's got to get paid. There's no way there's in this world built on money. There's no way no one's getting paid for say.
Yeah,
no.
And what about streaming? Obviously, I know bands don't earn much money from streaming, but there is albums or things on Spotify. Where does that streaming money go?
Back into the machine.
Yeah. You get faster AI next time.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's definitely a good time to be a music lawyer, I think.
That's true.
Might be a path. Yeah, the whole ethos is it. I know it's still in its infancy. Well, I think it's still in its infancy, as in, what happens once it's put out there. I suppose the social media aspect is not really a big thing because you can use anyone's. I think it's am I right to thinking that social media is sort of a free platform that you can probably use anyone's voice on it? Is that
I think as long as you're not profiting from it, you probably get away with it for fair use.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, I suppose so. So yeah, if you're not profiting, would it? So as in, will it get to the case where someone does use? So you could write a song, your own song, and
yeah,
there'll be a part of the song where you can write the lyrics, sing it, and then put in someone else's voice, and then your song could be collaborated with, I don't know, Zakk Wylde, and I've done a song collaborating with Zakk Wylde, but you've never met him, never been in, never done anything with him, but he's on your track.
Yeah, but I think he would have a problem with that.
Oh, he definitely would.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Yes, but it could be. Will do you think artists will come out with something as in, right, I'm going to release a platform or a thing where you can use my voice, or you can do it within the song, or so it sounds like you're collaborating with someone in the song, but they get paid for it? Will they get paid 100% of that collaboration from, or maybe no, it can't be 100%, or a percentage of a song? But then if they do that, as I said, the person's hasn't recorded on it. It's just made from AI.
Maybe we're all made from AI.
This is true. Maybe all a simulation. But,
let's not go down that rabbit hole. It's another discussion entirely.
That's another drunken discussion.
It's an illusion.
So if artists do that, and I suppose that is a part of copywriting voices, I suppose that we said earlier, we could record an album, 12 songs, and each song have a collab with a different artist on each song.
I think you'll see it more in hip hop because like they have a bigger sort of feature system in for songs, I think. So I reckon the smaller artists like that, I reckon that's probably where they'll get the bulk of, yeah, you can use this like tool to do a verse of what I would say based on my previous verses. I reckon that's where you'll see it first.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But then if you can do that, as in smaller bands could do it, have bigger artist voice on there, and obviously in the algorithm of the world, the bigger artists, the names are always going to come up in the algorithm. So will that be a tool to give you a bit more listening power?
I mean, it could do. Like having a bigger name attached to it is always going to help.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I'm just riffing, thinking of things here because it's just strange. But I think either way, writing, recording, real bands, so to speak, it's always gonna win for me. But I don't know if everybody who listens to music would everyone care about it. Would everyone care if they're listening to an AI album if it's good?
Probably not.
I think the older generation would.
Yeah.
More so than the Gen Z or whoever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're about to fucking find out.
Yes, we are. It's I'm sure this won't be the only the career episode that we do on AI, because as I said, it's in its infancy, and I'm sure there will be lots of other scandals from it. I thought we'd just do an episode just to talk about it as a whole, because I think we're like sort of lots of other people that you speak to, and then no one really knows the ins and outs of it or where it's going to go. So, yeah, you got anything more to say about it?
I just don't like it. I'm just going to say that. I don't like it. Well, I do and I don't. It has its, like I said, it has its pros and cons. Like, for example, like, you know, today you can get MIDI drums and MIDI bass and things like that. So you don't even need a full band to create a song or an album anymore. And it sounds good. So, you know, the development of technology in the music world is quite phenomenal. But like I said, it has to have a cut-off. Like, that's enough now.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be that threshold.
Someone's already, like, Fear Factory made an album without an actual drummer, didn't they? It was just drum machine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's happened a lot and we don't even know about it.
Yeah.
Well, you think, you know, even when they track drums, like I said, they put samples on it to make them sound bigger and more tuned or whatever. You know, if they're not getting the sound they want from the raw drums, they'll just stick a sample on it. And...
That's what happened to Saint Anger then, was it?
Oh, no, that was just, fuck knows what happened there. Maybe that was maybe like the first ever sample ever recorded was a trash can, and that was the only one they had.
Someone's plugged the wrong file in.
Yeah.
Who's got a file with someone in a bin?
Slipknot.
Oh yeah, that's both.
That's true. Yeah, They didn't want to hide it though. They were just like, no, this is what it is.
Yeah, man. I think probably in music, if it's used to enhance or create the music that you're creating, and it's come from you,
Yeah,
it's a good thing for a tool to use. But if it's a tool to use, as in to create music from start to finish, I think it's a bit of a cop out.
yeah, it shouldn't be a replacement.
Yeah, 100%.
By any means.
No, definitely not. And yeah, as I said, I think this might not be this won't be the only episode we're recording it, because I think it's going to get bigger and things are going to come out on it. But I have not much more to say about it at the minute.
No.
Sweet. Until next time, I suppose.
Till next time.
Goodbye.